Hello, everybody in YouTube land. So this is just starting. Sometimes people come in really quick. Sometimes it takes a little while, but I'm pretty eager, and I'm just gonna roll. And if somebody says, "Oh, I missed the beginning. I want to watch it back later," they can. If they say, "I don't," they don't. Then they won't. Or then they can. You know what I'm trying to say. But before I start, I just want to talk a little bit about, intention is a word that I kind of think of, but I don't think it's necessarily the word that I don't know if it's the one that makes the best sense. Why is it just now doing that? Just a moment. Okay. Okay, I guess so. This is so weird. Now what did I call this? I have been saving this document. Well, maybe what it was, I had it in another document with another document at first, and I just kept saving, and then it transferred it over. So this time when I went to save it, it was like, what do you want to call it? And I came up with a possible title there. So, but I just, and the other thing I didn't notice, unless I'm going to see it afterwards, is there was an option, which has always been there probably, but there was an option to add a trailer. I mean, it says in the movie, but I guess you could look at it as one. There was an option to add a trailer. And I saw one that kind of jumped out to me, and yes, Ray is here, I feel. Just a moment, please. But I can't believe I didn't see that lid sitting there. But I couldn't find it in files. I've had some media difficulties, as I'm learning, but things that normally should be pretty easy, like adding a photo as a thumbnail that's not already saved in this device. I was trying to find it on the phone, and then it did find it. That was a thing in itself. I wasn't letting enough files load for it to show the one I was looking for. Which actually, even though it wasn't showing previews properly, it was showing the dates. And when, first of all, realizing that that's what those numbers were helped. I mean, I guess it's not something I've done a lot of lately. But so, and any of these that have thumbnails already are things that are already saved in this computer. This is a different device. So, was there anything else I want to say before I kind of start? Actually start, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I selected a trailer option, and it wouldn't let me preview the file. It other than the title and an image, it was longer than the 15 minutes 30-second. I think that's what it said. Option, but it let me select it. It would not attach the photo. But I did a video recently where I did take a photo that could apply, and it is in this device, but I didn't want to use the same one at this point. And I was in it when I was young. I don't have a lot of pictures of when I was younger. And my cousin was in it, but I thought, on the off chance that she sees this and she recognizes herself, I feel like she'd be a bit sensitive to that. Now, in saying that, the picture that I kind of wanted to use would people recognize themselves. Well, a lot of them have passed away to heaven, one fairly recently. One might see the channel, and I must admit it's a little bit blurry and unflattering. I almost wonder if I should retake it. Maybe that's why it wasn't used. But then part of me thinks, and sorry, I'm taking a while to get to the song. It will be worth it. Nobody's here, but it will be worth it. Part of me thinks the fact that it's blurry might be meant to be, because in some ways the past is a blur, sometimes it's not, but also That's just dark. And a lot of these in this particular bunch of photos, actually, I'm not that young. I think I may have been, well, I was in high school, which is younger than I am now. It's true. No, I'm not even seeing that damn photo. Oh, here it is. Okay, sorry. I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks it's okay that it's blurred because in case somebody doesn't like their photo being in there, well, it's blurry, so it doesn't matter. The other thing is that I'm hoping that if I show it, I can make it the thumbnail when I go back to editing, which I'm still learning, and the other person in the house is a little bit better with it. So maybe a number of hours from now when that kind of, being a content creator is, can be very basic, but if you're wanting to kind of spruce things up more and make them look more polished or whatever, as the viewer leaves, they're like, because this isn't it. No, just kidding. They were there for like a minute or two, like not long enough to like really form an accurate opinion, perhaps. But the thing of the matter is that something else I've learned is that maybe they're saving it to watch later. Maybe they're distracted, busy. Maybe they're just simply distracted online with a whole bunch of things showing, and that maybe they have a certain way where it's like, I like to watch things in the order they're showing to me, so I'm going to build a queue. And then maybe their browser crashed and their queue disappeared, and they have to come find us, Sorry. But and I don't know why it's used to show name, handle name, and building, and can be searched by that, which is why I think part of the things went so smoothly the other day. But yeah, so basically, most of these people have passed away. Some I wouldn't mind reconnecting with. 2 in here I kind of am connected with, but not really. 3, kind of. And so, and I don't even know if they'll be recognized with this image, but I'm hoping later, that I can select it and say, use this as the thumbnail and do it that way. Because, I could say meant to be, not to, but I'd like to use one. I'm an audio-visual person, and not that there isn't visual in this video already, but I am likely you like the idea of adding a photo. So, and with this, going with the theme of this song, and it could be any photo really, and we're going to try and get better at that. Going with the theme of this song, I'm not the only kid in this picture. And for people who say, and I'll add this to the description maybe in case hopefully people see it, if they don't get this far in, who say, you're posting kids on the internet. This is an old photo. So all of the kids in this are at least 18. In fact, I was hearing something on the radio about the age of majority the other day being 16. And I thought that was a little odd because I had thought it was 18. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, true. Like I'm in high school there, and I'm 38 now. So some of them were younger than me in the picture, but yeah, they're at least. I don't know a lot about what they're doing these days. I do know that she's married, and living in Niagara Falls. Other than that, I couldn't tell you. So the photo that I've been alluding to, nobody's here, but here it is anyway. Now, I just put lotion on, which is probably not a good idea for doing this. And okay. I want it to be as close up as it can be. Okay, and hopefully, I know it wasn't, well, it kind of was as I was trying to figure it out. It's weird light spots. What the heck are those white squares on that painting in the background? That's odd. Anywho, so I'm going to close this up for now. There's a couple other things that might come into this later. But I should do this off. And yes, I did go and take care of a certain something before I started this. And I could just tell dog is really nosy. But the thing of the matter is that doesn't seem to make a difference for me. It's and so I'm going to try and ignore. What else do I want to say? So it's about 10 to 10 here locally in the morning. And don't need to say where, but I wrote a few lyrics, and then I was doing other things, and then not really inspired by those other things all that much, although almost, come to YouTube to come and roll live. And in the process of landing on the homepage, I got distracted a couple times. It's and then even the title kind of shaped to fit and this and that, and and then it wasn't even hugely intentional, but when the photo wasn't cooperating, I just found myself looking a little bit closer at some of the other settings, such as adding a trailer. Again, I didn't see it. I didn't see it show up before I started, even if it was short, like I was around. But I'm thinking maybe it does that after it adds it in. I don't know. I've never done it, so I'll be curious about that. What we plan to do is kind of download some photos of ours off of some site, and I shouldn't just maybe be too specific, but it's the same thing as what's said in the description though. Like it's totally easy to create your own content featuring your own you and your own stuff. Do that, like seriously, it's not that hard. Almost everybody has a device these days. If you don't have one, you can probably pretty easily get one. And enjoy that process. Enjoy what that brings you. This is ours. But yes, it should be easier photo wise with those. Actually, you really don't download it, but just that's kind of what I did with that other one, and that kind of worked. But no, if you have to put it into, and we don't know how to do that yet. We'll have to look how to put photos into a live stream, possibly while live. If it's not doable, we'll do it afterwards. But okay, so I'm just going to give myself a moment here. Nobody's here right now. And then I'll start the song. And even that, and the way I found the chords, I don't know if I should say, but it's totally fine. It sounds like its own thing. It was actually a perfect example of using other inspiration and memories, actually, to inspire this. It's something that I struggle with. And for anybody who's ever seen any of the originals I posted, you might notice that. Although you can do different things vocally and lyrically, and it's almost not noticeable. But that I do have some favorite chords I use. Also, I don't know where the heat's on, but yet my feet have been so cold. My legs have been a bit cold. And I also don't know where the heat's on. Or at least it looks like it's on. Anywho, but I want to keep the air moving. I want to keep this moving. But yes, so I often use the same chords. This doesn't have that. Something else interesting that happened within it is that I put in a bit of intro chords, which actually don't match the verses ones. So that's not something I've done a lot of with songwriting. I just kind of jump right into it. And I think that's the lesson. Whether you're a content creator or not, really, is to be a bit more precise, be a bit more intentional. I think could be the word. And I don't have any problem doing songwriting on the spot on here, but it is something. I'll just try and say this in a nutshell here. It is something that has been very hard for me. I didn't realize until I started to realize the past few days And in some ways it has been intentional, in other ways it feels like it just kind of happened. I'm not impulsive all the time, but I am pretty impulsive, and a lot of us are, you know. And so it's interesting to kind of realize yourself being less impulsive. Me realizing that myself as well. Um, you know, sometimes it may be okay, but sometimes there's power in not being. Somebody was there for a few seconds and they're like, "Oh, I clicked this on impulse. Maybe I shouldn't have." I hope they're safe, but then maybe I should have. You know, because like that was like a few seconds. But so initially, honestly, I was gonna start rolling, and I didn't even have chords, and I would have had to do them on the spot. And actually, I haven't fully chorded it. Um, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch the pattern and go from there. But I haven't. I got too eager to start this after the photo thing and a couple other little distractions connected to setting up the video and in general. Not huge, long ones, but it just got to be like I just want to do this now. Like I don't want to wait around because I feel like and my unconscious realizes this, and my conscience realizes this, um, that I'm weak. Not for lack of trying in a lot of cases, kind of, sort of, and it's either the person hasn't noticed or just sits there, or it he's eating something in the picture. Um, or it's been a no. And so I've or it's not been time yet, whatever it is. But it's hard. It's hard when you feel like it is. And this is very interesting, almost an example of it, perhaps. I had an old email to myself with another original song that kind of fits that theme, and I was going to look it up. And at first it did show, um, but the top one, there was random stuff before the lyrics, kind of like this. Uh, so I clicked out of it, thinking, no, I don't want that stuff, even though I did see the lyrics underneath. It would have been a bit of scrolling, but whatever. And I did have to make the font, zoom in on the font quite a bit, because my, I guess, not quite awake and aging eyes with the file. But so I ran out and I clicked the other one. And then I thought, well, but the other one's more recent. So that's probably what I want. And now it's just showing 7 unsent in outbox, and it's just not finding it. And it's true. The intro to this has been quite long, and now it is, though. So what did all that tell me? Okay, so we have somebody here. So I was just looking at some lyrics for another song that I want to do, but I don't know if it's going to be in this one because I haven't done the song for this one yet, and the viewer left. So, like I said, I did try and take care of a very quick functional need, so to speak, before I started. Sometimes I last longer than other times with it. So, and that's actually kind of ironic what the first part of this comment is going to say. Hopefully people will see that. The circle icon and the highlight stand out, I think. Do I want to put the... Why don't I just turn the heat off? Although it didn't feel like it. But then my feet really wet. Really like anemia. Till I come back down. With any luck, hopefully this will be where it shows an advertisement. I don't see them even though they are set on there because I can't not do it, it seems like. Sometimes at the beginning, and that's the thing. I don't know what it's going to be. Cool. So I got the mismatched socks because it couldn't find the match actually to either of them. Get my legs over in my hair. So maybe I'm okay. Really helps to keep the air moving and stuff like that, right? Okay, so that was 3 minutes. So what it looks like with this one, and I'm really sorry that I've been so distracted doing the original one, but whatever. The viewers will have to go with the flow like I do because, even being methodical, and part of me feels, oh, meant to be then. Meant to be that it's this way. But what this seems to be, it has the word of the song in the title, and I don't know if I want to post the song later just as it. Some people would say, yeah, I wish you would have done it with this one too. But in my mind, there's a bit of a reason, and I can make a more of a musical medley with it. Wouldn't be that terrible. The blurb is catching, like the non-lyrical blurb is catching my eye. I am noticing my sinuses a little bit though, and I just want to see something really quickly. I know I just got back on the screen, but let's see what I get past the anxiety. honestly. But then there are also some people that are just very ADHD and impatient. If they tune in and it sounds like talking, even if it's poetic, they might be less interested. If it sounds like music, they might be more interested. So I think you're going to get to the music. I'll try and find this on the computer. It'll be easier, I think, to add chords to. And it actually, this email seems to be showing that between the two, it's lyrics for some other song. I'm not even sure. I don't think it's the same one. And then there's the other one. So that might be the next video. But, and then there was also this idea spread out before me on the couch here. So, but just in case, want to make sure, and because that's what this video was about, I want to get the one that I was initially planning to do in. I wish there was a way to pause the live stream, though. I really wish there was. And there, see, it takes longer and it's less potentially engaging and interactive. Otherwise, the focus might be better. I could edit more before posting if I didn't live stream. But I know that the video camera in this device is wonky and sometimes it seems like it's recorded and then it's hard to find them. That one, the audio doesn't record, but it plays out audio just fine, but not of the things where it doesn't even record, I'm pretty sure. And the other person isn't home devices. And yeah. Just checking something very, very quickly before I start the song, finally. But of course, I can't guarantee how quick it will be, depending if anyone sends something to me. Just kidding. And just so happens they haven't. But sometimes they have. So there you have it. Isn't that how it goes, eh? Sorry, I'm just being a bit distracted by some thoughts. Nobody's here. I mean, yeah, there could be people here afterwards, so I really should get to it. It's just something is distracting my mind. I've been mostly managing after like 2 or 3 days since something. The mixed feelings are still kind of there, and for 2 or 3 reasons, they're there fairly strongly right now, and I'm not sure if that's telling me something or not. But I had meant to add this in the description. I know it's maybe a bit of a funny phrase. People can see that. Yeah, they'll see that it's, this channel that put it, but it's not exactly long. I mean, once I start the song, they'll be focused on that, but still. And you know what? I'm just realizing something. That should have been very obvious. And all I'll say is, and so with that bit of sign language out of the way, and this is also something I do kind of want to mention though. Like I know somebody who's having issues playing audio on her device, so she can. I just checked. Yeah, she can do the captioning. She's heard me a little bit musically, and then there's that. And then there's that, and what I can play. Sorry. I don't know. I'm not saying no. So I'm not saying yes. But anywho, sorry. Whew, um, yeah. So, but I'm telling you, you can get a pair of headphones pretty easily, or possibly even a pair of speakers. We possibly even have spares. But she has heard, thank you, Jackie, one of the songs. Or no, she has heard me do one or two songs. Also in a group that she used to run with us. Or kind of co-run with us, actually. But she hasn't heard every song I'm going to do. And even that friend last night who, the live chat didn't display afterwards. She had a phone call interrupt her. And then she came back, but I was not still rolling. Honest truth. She texted it to me. And I don't know if she's put anything since. I didn't notice any notifications, but it was late at night, and then this Monday, and not everybody has as whimsical and leisurely a Monday as me, or a weekday, Monday through Friday. But some people do, I often think, there are people that are unemployed or on disability or work part-time or don't work at all. Well, that's unemployed. There's really a mixture. And so where are y'all at? Because there should be some here to watch. But this is the thing. There's so much on YouTube. There is so much. And it'd be impossible to see it all. And I'm sure that you have videos in your queue and in your watch later that you want to watch. But you maybe want to hear the rest of this. So finally, I don't think I'm going to do the song now. I just am not sure if I want that AC on or not. Like, I'm mostly comfortable, but I'm on the verge of getting chilly. But I also know that when I play music, it warms me up, performing. And if I'm, doing a few songs, I'm sweating a few bullets. If I do a few songs, I'm sweating sometimes. And sure, you didn't need to know that, but it does remind me. What do you all think of? I don't know if I should say this, but I've been wondering. Too bad coming back here. And I'm not saying who. And if it happens to be somebody who sees this, let me just say it this way before I start. I really like the concept of the options that you give. However, and I almost put something as a top comment to you, which I don't really do very often, and for whatever reason didn't do. I think because I remembered that even though it goes by something different, I guess maiden name or something, not saying who, I and I've heard of a very similar name, and I really love the first name, but I had decided to search it, and that was before actually seeing a second address, although that one video was a while ago. I had decided to search it and or search you because, well, first of all, we couldn't find envelopes, and that was before the other person in the house says they could probably get one from work. Don't know when, though. We don't really do that kind of thing much anymore these days, right? But I did find some stamps, and there's still some on the fridge if I can't find the ones I moved on to the somewhat messy counter. But I did find you in another way, and I'm not sure what you'd think of it. And two, but I do think that might be easier. But then the it was kind of being a bit wonky. Popped up this thing, and even though it's mostly working, it's made me a little bit hesitant to do much kind of like first time sending. And so that AC is getting a bit chilly. But I also don't want to send to the wrong address. So I'm going to put this over here and hide it from myself. And yeah, so that might be, I don't know what that's telling me, but maybe I'll just say your first name, Melinda, if you happen to see this. I just want to say, and I think actually it did say in the description, this almost didn't come up. I almost forgot. I am going to turn off the AC, though, because it's noisy. I know. You might not hear it. You're like, I heard this fine, and I heard that. But you know what? I think this, that's a great segue, actually, to this song. I think that, we have to accept the stages that we're at in life. We don't exactly have a choice. Sure, we can be a kid at heart. We can do the things we used to love to do, that kind of stuff. But honestly and truly, even young folks are always getting older. There's no, I can't let the dumb guy. No, that's making me wonder. But anyway, yeah, none of us are getting any younger. And when you get older, things start to happen. Like she posted, I think 5 days ago, and she'd had some health problems and some things happen in her life that she shared about on her channel, Linda. And even if she had or has passed away, and I hope she hasn't, she has her videos that she's been creating as a great legacy. And I'm really happy to have been shown them. And it was interesting. The first one or two that I watched, the volume wasn't great, and it oddly, for some weird reason, didn't occur to me to use the speaker because I don't use it very often, I guess. But then I did, and I'm not sure if the other person in the house is liking the content as much, but I think not hating it. Surprise hasn't said that she reminds him of anybody, because she reminds me of one or two people, and I can't think of who. Kind of lacks, but not look. And I feel like Whitney Blackstone. I don't know. Anyway, point of the matter is she might, and yet she's also her own person. And who is she? She is. I don't know if I should say more. I mean, I know she's on this platform, but I don't know if she wants to be mentioned in somebody else's videos super specifically. But she is musical. She also, like me, talks about mental health things sometimes personally, sometimes in general. And she's a very loving soul. And she's like, there's always, one of the things something that she said in one of her videos, and she said it kind of in some of her other ones too, is there's always somebody out there that loves you, and that person is her. And that person is me. And that person is. If you feel like you don't have it, you do. Even if it's from random strangers. And I know to some that might seem weird, but I think it's really actually quite sweet. And I'm not trying to be weird with it. And so they have it. People are going to say, this is the longest song in history. What else is in there? Sparks their curiosity, perhaps. Wasn't intentional, but yeah, so basically, I don't know. It's searchable. Let me just see here. It says, more sweat at peace, less blood at war. Our first war casualty. I might understand this differently than I did the first 2 times I saw it. I think, oh, that's actually kind of ironic. I think, and that might be, unless she hasn't updated it, that might actually be telling me what's accurate. I think, therefore I am. And actually, I think was it her or was it the other lady that sort of looks like her, who I have commented. I think I've sent her at least one, and it may have. I worried it might have been misinterpreted and sounded a little bit more about me. But I did try, and I think I ended up doing the sandwich method, where I said a little bit about her, and then I said, what I liked about her, and then I said a little bit about me, and then I said a little bit more about her, from what I recall. Or at least, that's kind of, I didn't intend for it to be relevant, just like with the little bit. But I think what that's saying is the first battle that, one of the biggest battles that we, have in life is finding a way to live our truth and be truthful with our intent and with with our story and what we want other people to know and learn about from it. And I think this song that I wrote, that I'm finally getting to, not that anybody's here, it's not that there's a whole bunch of you here applauding, woohoo! I didn't think we'd ever get here, and I was just about to leave, but anywho, it would have been a funny moment for someone to tune in. But so, there is parts of my story within this. Some are vague, and that's okay. But there are parts of my story within this. A great moment for you to tune in. But so I welcome you to Let Me Be Distracted very, very briefly one more time. I'm hoping people with ADHD will understand. I'm just raise here. My angels are here. You might be here. Are you here? No, you're all here. Are you all there? And this is the thing. I wasn't going to try and make this. Some people, even though they make their own content, they may run their farm or be busy. If they like somebody's content enough, if they like somebody enough, they will hopefully watch their whole videos, or at least they'll see what they're meant to see, and they'll try their best. Anyway, point of the matter being is that I don't remember. I'll try and add it in the comments. And I hope I see at least a couple nice, lovely comments on my song while I'm rolling live. That'll make it longer because I'll have to address them, but whatever. And afterwards, I wish I could remember my other thought, but I'm not going to try too hard right now because I'm getting tired and I want to do the damn song. She's not a dog. I'm not your little bro. Just thought you and her should know. I'm not very merry. every day. And I can be like a big road, and I can be like a big road, either way. I am original, always original. So I'm always original me. I've been inspired. I've been inspired by the ways of seeing me. So I'm going to stop for a moment, because one thing that I did do is there were 3 songs, and I really don't think it's actually all that obvious. There were 3 songs that when I searched for the chords of them, the little preview that it showed, that's what I went with. And they were 3 songs that were kind of symbolic for the first line. But when I'm looking at them, and again, you know, that there's only so many different ways you can chord a song. Definitely starts in G. But it spoke Spock to the fact of allowing something to be your inspiration, but, you know, still making your own creation. Although I'm showing that this is also a rough draft of doing that. What's interesting, though, is it just bounced to the top. I know the first one I searched, and this isn't sounding like it. It's so weird. But maybe it doesn't have to. So I'll try and do a more polished version of this later. But yeah, unfortunately, I only kind of put the chords at the first part, and now I'm not seeing how it necessarily fits this part. So this is, you know, in real and raw mode. But that's a very common chord pattern. I mean, yeah, sometimes, you know. And if I actually did try, I probably would sound too much like the inspiration. So to be young again, I wouldn't want you too old. Wouldn't have to do some of the what's been told. Decisions would be easier too. So this doesn't sound like what it was going to. Easier too. Should meditate. ADHD can be concentrate. Maybe not. But I cannot look away from my earlier days. Stuff I love and what I like now. Still on the communication. Uniquely me. And it is ours. You're uniquely you. And it's uniquely yours. Come with me. I think it's supposed to be come on in with me. Come on in with me on in. And yes, the two this is in the title was intentional. Because this is where it's at, folks, or something like that. I don't know. Come on in with me. I'm burnt out, you see. We can energize. We can energize. I know it's rough. Nobody's here at the moment, but come on in with me. And I thought it was going to go smoother, but that's fine. I'm burnt out, you see. Which is ironic because if I put the D in front of the I'm, it's dim. We can energize each other. It burnt out, you know. To be. I like that. Whoever we wish to. People would have to be able to have those for this because I'm not gonna remember how to do it. Whoever we wish to be. Whoever we wish to be. Sister, brother to me. Brothers, the days mix into each other. It's hard to look back, and sometimes can't. But sometimes it makes me smile, and I want it back, the good old days. Days. And then something happened with the device, and I wrote on the other side, and then I wrote this next bit, and then the next bit, and the next bit. So let's try that part again. Why does the screen suddenly look like it's dimming? I don't know. Anyway, probably just me getting tired. Look back, sometimes can't, sometimes makes. I'm gonna do this. Okay. Sometimes makes me smile. I want it back. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Oops. Sometimes makes me smile. Ironic. Dandy. And I want it back. And then ironically I put an arrow because I accidentally had the quote at the end of the line. But sometimes makes me smile. I want it back. The good old days. On the other side, yesterday is tomorrow, and today. Yeah, that sounded something too. That's all I got. That's all I got. And I don't know if there should be more lyrics in that, or I mean, it seems like a good amount, but it also kind of seemed kind of like it was a little bit abrupt, didn't it? And then it's go back to the top. But I don't know if I've worked this enough to go live with it on its own version. Or, you know, just as the song, which was kind of the intent. Brother. my GDEC combination. Good old I don't know whether I like the D or the C better there. And then they can. I also don't know if I should make. There was kind of one word that kind of came up a little after the first time was intentional for a different reason, and I don't know if it would take that reason away to put them blue. I'm also having the inkling to just come online in a little bit and just do a few covers. But and just see how that does. But I think for right now, I am going to wrap this up because I put a lot into this. I need a rest. And so there you hear it. Before somebody comes in to watch and enjoy, and this becomes 2 hours. Take care. Oh, and I also just